You get those notifications.
Yeah, it shows a little live on the corner.
Oh, you've got that, right, okay. Right, yep, so I've got a yellow box now saying live, and we've got the three of us here. We've still got 0 viewers according to the counter. So we're just going to talk for a minute or two, and hopefully a few people will beam in. So yeah, is it sunny where you guys are? You in London, Southampton?
I'm in London right now.
You're in London. Is it sunny?
Yeah, it's a little sunny. It's we've got a nice little view behind us of Abbey Road, and it's pretty.
Oh, so nice.
That's good. Whereabouts are you, Ashley?
I'm in Southampton still, so it's a bit overcast, but I think the rest of the day was supposed to be a little bit better, hopefully.
Oh well, sun always shines on the righteous. Okay, we've got a viewer apparently, so brilliant. That's fantastic. I think we'll get started then, because I know there is a bit of a delay, and we don't want to miss anyone. But I'll say hi and introduce my two colleagues here. I'm Lisa. I look after the digital marketing MSc at the Business School, and here with me we have Amanda in the white, who's waving at you, and Ashley in the purple, who's also waving at you. She's purple, so I can't see her so well. And we're just going to hopefully answer any questions you might have about either Southampton in general, the university, or business school, anything that might help you if you're still trying to make up your minds about whether you want to come and study for an MSc with us or not. So perhaps I could just ask the guys to introduce themselves first. So Amanda, do you want to kick off?
Sure. I'm Amanda. I'm starting my dissertation right now, or working on it, for the Digital Marketing MSc course, and I started last September, and I'm from the US.
Thank you very much. And Ashley?
Hi, I'm Ashley. I am also from the US, originally Florida. I'm in the same program as Amanda, doing the MSc Digital Marketing, also working on my dissertation. And yeah, it's been a great experience so far. I'm sure both Amanda and I are pretty much ready to go ahead and finish up now, but the whole program in general has been really, really great.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, I mean, exactly a year ago, Amanda and Ashley were in your position now, still sort of waiting to start, wondering whether they'd made the right decision. So we thought that if you've got any concerns or questions about what it's like, particularly if you're an international student, you've maybe not even been to the UK before, then this is an opportunity to ask questions. We're taking questions by Twitter as well. We have a hashtag which is ChooseSBS. So please feel free to tweet us your questions, and we'll check that every so often and see if anyone's beamed in. Now, in terms of asking questions through this Hangout, if you just push your mouse over to the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a whole column of buttons appear, and the middle one of those buttons has got a Q&A symbol on it. And all you need to do is just click that Q&A button, which I've just done, and your question, you can then write a question which will appear on our screens. Aha, we have a question already. It says, is anybody here? Yes. Yes, so that's that question we've answered very easily indeed. We are. So thank you, the system works. So yeah, so if you want to ask us a question, just interrupt at any time, either beam in through Twitter, which we'll check, or just click on that little Q&A button and you can ask a question which will appear in our screen. We can't actually write an answer to the question, but we'll see it and we'll respond verbally to your question. Okay, so let's see, what can we do?
We could talk about our own process of what we went through to decide.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay. Do you want to go first, Amanda?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I spent, how long was it? I met with Dr. Harris 2 years before I applied, I believe. It was extensive. So I was working in the industry at the time, and I came over to visit the university just to see it. And I came across one of my friends who was there sent me a paper to look at, and it happened to be written by Dr. Harris. And I read it, found it really interesting, and so I reached out to her. And when I finally was able to get to chat with her, because it was a really busy exam time at that moment, basically she told me about the program, which I hadn't heard of at that time. And I liked the university, and I liked the idea of coming to the UK, but I wanted to be positive that that was the university I wanted to be at, because I had this dream of being in London, and Southampton was a bit further out. So I looked at a lot of universities and really did some comparison and my research on the different programs, and I decided on the digital marketing MSc at Southampton. And, you know, London was only a bus ride away, so I ended up getting a great experience.
Fantastic. Great. I didn't know that about the paper, actually. That's really Okay, well, what about you, Ashley?
So my story, I had visited England quite a bit in the past before I actually decided to move here for the master's program. So I kind of had a good feel for the country in general, and I just really loved it and knew that I wanted to live here at some point during my life. So I started looking into the master's degrees. And I had no industry experience previous to coming here either, and so it was really important to me to find the perfect program, because I knew it would be really, really important to get started with a good program before then going into the industry. So as I was researching, I had additionally set my sights on a different program that was simply international marketing. And the more I thought about it and the more I researched, I found the digital marketing program at Southampton, and it just made so much more sense to me that digital marketing obviously is where the careers are going to be in the future. And the program in general had the school in general really is one of the top ranked. So it just made so much more sense to me to go into a degree that was so much more specific to exactly what I wanted to do. So it just kind of went from there. Once I found the program, I knew that that was the one I wanted to take, and the application process was fairly simple after that, and the rest is history.
Brilliant. Yeah, and so a whole year later, it's probably gone really quickly, hasn't it?
It's insane how quickly it's gone. It's crazy.
Okay. Right, well, brilliant. Thank you for that. I'm just going to have a quick look at Twitter where I saved the search and see if we've got any questions. Oh, we do. We've got a question from Jonathan. He says, what was the most difficult part about moving to a new country? I guess you can both answer that one, seeing as you both come from America.
Ashley, do you want to start?
Sure. So for me, since I had visited, like I said, I had visited here quite a bit beforehand. I think for a lot of people it may be like the change in culture depending on where you're moving from. But for me, it was more so being away from my family. I found that to be the hardest part, and being away from friends, obviously, that you've been close to. So for me, the best thing that I found to help solve that was just getting involved more and meeting people while I was here and in the program. And I think that stands for really like any sort of move or schooling that you're doing, is like the more that you throw yourself into both your studies and like extracurricular type things like clubs and sports and things like that, it makes the city that you're in and also the university feel a lot smaller, because you're running into people on campus that you know, and you kind of just learn about the place that you're living a lot quicker than you would if you kind of just keep to yourself. So my advice would definitely be, if you're moving to a new place that you may have never been before or have been limited times and know limited people, just put yourself out there, because that's been the coolest thing, has been like joining clubs and actually just getting close to people that live here as well.
Great.
I think that's a great answer. Mine's a bit more personal to me in that it's really my own fault. I'm terrible with directions, and I found navigating really difficult at first, because from where I'm from, usually I have a car and I have, navigation system, whereas I didn't really have that luxury here. But you find that the public transportation is fantastic, and Google Maps is a wonderful thing, as well as the university has a great map in their university app. So getting around campus is a little easier with that, and Google Maps for the city.
Okay, brilliant. That reminds me, actually, you might have seen on the email that we sent out, which was inviting you to this chat, that there is a link at the bottom to the virtual tour of the university, which I'd certainly recommend you have a look at. It's quite fun. You can go inside the buildings and you can see all the different places and how to get from one to the other, which would have been probably quite useful for you, Amanda, given your sense of direction. Okay, don't forget, just if you want to ask a question, just hover your mouse over the left of the screen, just click on the Q&A button and fire it up, and we should see it. I don't see any new ones in there at the moment, so I'm just going to have another look at Twitter. Hang on a second. Right. Okay. Do all students in the MSc programs already have a lot of industry experience? Is another question.
Well, I think between Ashley and myself, we're a great example. Ashley mentioned she didn't have any industry experience, and I had been in industry for 4 years before I came. And so you have a lot of people who might have a little bit. Some people have a lot of experience. Some people are changing experience, so they might have taught something else before or worked in a different industry and have decided to move into this. So I think you would get a great range of people, and not only experience-wise, but also age-wise, nationality, culture, everything like that. It's really good.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really good point. That's actually been probably my favorite aspect of my whole time at Southampton in general, is that the people that I've met here have been so diverse, and I've just met loads of people from like all walks of life. And I think where I used to live, it was very, everyone kind of like had the same history, really. And so coming here and meeting loads of people who have different stories has been like one of the coolest things, honestly. But back to the experience part of it, I had no experience in the industry prior to coming here, like I said before. But I mean, I don't think that should be taken as it's kind of just like an extra challenge when you're coming to the university, but it's not it doesn't affect you negatively while you're in the course, because the professors, at least in my experience, the professors give you the tools and talk about the things you need to know in order to succeed, and they don't penalize you for not having experience because it's not expected of you. But on top of that, because your classmates may have experience in different different cultures and everything, it brings a lot to the table when you do work on group projects and things like that, even though you might not have experienced a certain thing, somebody else likely has. And so it's cool just to learn from them as well as your professors.
I totally agree with that. I had that experience in a group project where I haven't worked in an advertising agency, and we acted as one. And I learned a lot from the people who had worked in the advertising agency.
Yeah.
And I was learning right alongside people who had never been in industry at all. So it was really interesting.
So it's a good mixture then. I think you're saying would be a reasonable summary. You've got people from all different cultures, all different types of background, and you share and learn from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just put you both on the spot briefly while we're seeing if there's any more questions. What was the best thing for each of you about your year at Southampton? What have you enjoyed the most?
I think the best thing for me was the professors. So knowledgeable. It's incredible, the things that I've taken away, and the things that I've changed my own perceptions of. So I think that's really great. And that goes for just life in general as well, not only digital marketing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I was going to say that the way that the professors teach has been like, it has changed everything for me, because I'm not really sure if it's because we're in master's programs or if it's just UK teaching in general, but my undergraduate university, it was a lot of the professors would speak to you, and then you would take maybe like a multiple choice exam, or it would be a very one-way communication. And so coming to Southampton, this program has been so, I just find it more fulfilling, because the professors, they try and get a discussion going, and they'll give you information, give you kind of like different sides to the story, and then it's up to you to make a decision on what your opinion is. You're meant to form your own opinion and like present your own arguments. You're not just meant to accept information for what it is. So definitely the professors and their teaching methods have been probably the best thing about coming here.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you both. We've got a question here. I'm just reading it off the screen. It says, is there any opportunity to study web-only business management? I guess, do you mean to study businesses on the web, or do you mean to actually take the study totally online rather than coming to university? Perhaps you could just clarify your question a little bit. That would be brilliant. I'll just wait for a second to see if there's a follow-up to that. But we just reminds me though, we do have the MOOC, the Digital Marketing Massive Open Online Course, which both you guys helped out with, didn't you, last year? Do you have any comments on that and how that contributed to your learning?
I think, well, for me, I think Amanda had said in a previous talk that we'd had that maybe she had participated in MOOCs before. For me, it was the first time that I had come across them ever. I'd never heard of them. So for anyone watching who doesn't know what they are, the MOOCs are the massive open online courses, and they're free to take, and you can find them in almost any subject you could ever possibly want. But the school puts them on for us as well. And so the ones we participated in were digital marketing specific, the one that we worked on. But it was really cool because it was, I think it goes back to the variety of people that you meet through it. Because it's worldwide, there were people from all over the globe, and it's online, so you can access it from home. And so it was just really cool being able to read other people's opinions on topics that we were actually covering in class at the time.
Yes, Ashley's right. I have taken MOOCs before. Kind of like a fun thing for me is doing statistics MOOCs. I really like them. So yes, it is a guilty pleasure. So I actually really enjoy them, and I have for years. I've been participating in them as a student solely. But while I was in the course here, I was able to participate as a student, but I was also working with the DigiChamps, which is a group of, well, the Digital Champions, a group of students that come together and we help out with all things digital for the university and events. And I was working as a moderator as well, as being a student taking the course. That was really interesting because I was so much more immersed in helping other people as well as learning myself. So I really enjoyed it, and I think being able to join with, like Ashley was mentioning, being able to join with all these people who aren't in our program, who have such a variety of interests and a variety of backgrounds, and they're really doing this for enjoyment instead of, part of their course, although many people in our course ended up finding it very enjoyable as well. I think that was a fantastic experience to see people really wanting to learn on their own time.
Okay, thanks both of you. I'm just checking back, and Nicholas has clarified his question. He was actually asking about studying business on the web, so we probably answered completely. Maybe we partly answered his question, but yeah, I mean certainly. We've got 23 programs altogether, as well as digital marketing, which we've mainly been talking about because that's the one all three of us have most contact with. We do have MSCs in digital business, and obviously, the web is something which pervades all our lives these days. So I think it'd be hard to study anything without studying the impact of the web. But okay, that's hopefully dealt with that question. Let's see if there's any more. I'm just going to check Twitter again. Okay. Nope, there's nothing else on Twitter. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to contribute before we've done 20 minutes so far. We've got about another 10 altogether if we need it. But if we don't get any more questions, we can always close down a bit early. But is there anything else that you two wanted to throw in?
I was going to talk about in the university in general, the clubs. I think Ashley touched on them earlier. It's a really great way for people to meet people in their own cultures and in their own interests outside of their course. So the university does that very well, I think. They have a big fair, like a day where you go out and you see all the clubs together, and you meet all the people who head them up, and then the people who are joining at that time and other members on that day. So if you do decide on the university, I say make the most of that time and join in and try and just meet people of your own interest. You never know what kind of friendships will form. It's really great.
Okay, thank you. We've got another question, actually. Sorry to cut you a bit short there. I'll come back to you in a moment, Ashley. Developing our digital literacy. What are the opportunities? This could be a chance to talk about the DigiChamps a little.
Yeah, DigiChamps and the blog seminars that we have. I think that was really great for developing that kind of digital literacy aspect. We promoted creation of blogs just to really show people an outlet to use, but also so that they can learn how to create their own branding on the web themselves, which can be really helpful in finding jobs later, or it can be just a personal thing. So I think that's a great advantage we have, and the DigiChamps are all over that. And I believe one of the DigiChamps, Sarah, I believe, that's her big area that she loves to discuss, so she always says about it.
Brilliant. I think you were breaking up a little bit on that last sentence or two, Amanda, but thanks for that. And Ashley, did you have anything to add on the question of digital literacy, and what have you learned on the web, about the web?
Yeah, so my advice, actually, if you're interested in learning more about digital literacy, if you do come to Southampton, so the DigiChamps are responsible for helping spread digital literacy on campus, but in addition to kind of going to the events that are hosted by the DigiChamps to inform people, even just joining, because like I said previously, I didn't have much experience, and so joining the DigiChamps and getting involved in the events that we've covered and just the different things that we've put on campus, I myself have learned so much because I've kind of been involved and had different roles, and so it's kind of like learning on the job as well, that even if you weren't sure about how to do something previously, it kind of gives you that experience immediately by learning yourself as you go along. So that was cool as well, just like instead of just learning and receiving information, actually being active and participating actually really helped me as well.
Yeah, brilliant. So yeah, I think that's you did a number of video sessions for us, didn't you?
I did, yeah. It was cool because we did some event coverage, and so I was normally there either taking photos or filming, and so as I was actually like working with the DigiChamps, I was still learning at the same time, because the events that were put on by the university, like I was there as both a listener and working at the same time. But it was cool to actually go and get to hear what these guests were saying.
And Amanda, I think you did some workshops for us, didn't you, about helping people getting started with blogging, which was really, because for some people it's still completely new. So I think they went quite well, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. People were very excited about it when they were finishing.
Great. Right, okay, well, we're running out of time shortly. I'm just going to check, see if there's any more questions. Don't forget, Q&A button on the left if you want to beam in here and we can see what you've asked us. Well, I'll just check Twitter one more time. Where are we? Nope, there's nothing else on Twitter. Right, so just before we finish then, I'm just going to share my screen and just show you a couple of websites that you might find useful. So let's have a look. Perhaps Amanda and Ashley, you can just confirm to me whether this is actually displaying properly. Can you see my tweet deck at the moment?
Yes.
Right, okay, I'm just going to move on to this one. This is the Facebook group called Bizarrely Facey McFacebook, which is an in-joke, which we haven't really got time to explain to you now. But, I think you guys have found this quite useful in terms of sort of sharing stories and commenting on sort of what's going on in the digital world. So that's a group that anyone who's interested is welcome to join and see what kind of discussions we get up to. And I mentioned the virtual tour just now. There's a link to that from the bottom of the email that we sent you. And you can see there's a short video, welcome to it, which shows you how to work your way around and see the university's campus and buildings. There's also some links you might find useful from this same place about accommodation, about visas, about Southampton as a city, and what it's like to live here. So I think you might find that quite useful, as well as our university social media accounts. So what else have we got? Oh, these are the DigiChamps that we've been talking about. You can see me there at the background in blue, Amanda here, and Ashley over here on this side, and a few others of the motley crew. So if you can set up to, welcome to join us. Right. Okay, let's click back. I'll stop sharing my screen. Okay, so I think that's pretty much covered what I wanted to mention. Just checking finally if there's any more. I'm just going to click some of these old questions out the way to see if there's any new ones. Nope, I don't think so. Right, so I think we'll sign off now then. This chat is saved to YouTube, so if you've come in late or if you want to watch it later, then we will send you the link via Twitter, and we'll also it'll be in the Google Plus link that you click through to get to here. Will be a YouTube link that replaces it, so you'll be able to see us all again should you wish. And we're doing actually another session at 2 o'clock. That's Greenwich Mean Time +1 on Wednesday, because we're trying to cover different time zones, because we realise that people are applying from all around the world, and we're trying to set up a time for these chats that's convenient for most people. So on Wednesday at 2 o'clock, which is the other link in the email we sent, and we'll be doing this all over again and saying probably something very similar. So you'll get another opportunity if you've got further questions, or if you look up some of the links that we've shown you and want to talk more about them, then please feel free to beam in. So do you guys want to just say cheerio and sign off, and we'll leave it there, I think, for today.
All right, cheerio.
No, quick.
Thank you for watching.
Right, so thanks both to Amanda and Ashley for sharing experiences and for putting up with the technology, which seems to have worked reasonably well. No one's dropped out or gone quiet, so that's fantastic. Oh, we've got a thank you message. Brilliant. Right, so yes, thanks then for watching, and we're going to close off now, and we may see some of you either on YouTube or live again on Wednesday. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.